And for the levels of conduciveness in school, an actual research presented to the Department of Education, Lanao del Norte Division by Giovanni Trozo from Maigo National High School. A conducive learning environment can help increase intellectual activities, encourage friendship, cooperation, and support among the students, at the same time, promote learning, student growth and development, as well as from what has been viewed as school climate by the different authorities based on their perceptions. We can say that a healthy school climate may play a significant role on the learning environment of the teachers and the students. According to She et al. 2015, the classroom and physical environment is an important element in creating a conducive and stimulating learning environment. A conducive learning environment creates a comfortable teaching and learning environment while keeping the students focused and interested in the classroom. An environment that is conducive and suits the needs of the teachers and students, as well as complements the classroom activities, can help improve the learning outcomes. That for the reason, factors such as learning styles and classroom design need proper attention, because these elements would interact and influence the teaching and learning comfort level, which in turn would affect learning effectiveness. Under the Big B et al. 2007, this is due to the fact that learning environment is not just a physical space, but also consists of a variety of materials and sources of information, interaction, relationship between and amongst the students and teachers, and expectations and rules for learning and behavior. When the quality of education and teaching in schools is mentioned, what comes to mind first are the physical and technical infrastructure of schools, classroom sizes, quality of teachers, syllabi, and textbooks. Surely, each of these factors is very important. One of the factors as well, equally important but much less frequently noted, is the suitability of the school climate, that is defined as the set of elements influencing teachers and students' attitudes and behaviors. That's according to the year 2016. And according to Woolfolk 2007, the classroom is a specific environment which is multi-dimensional, time-sensitive, and filled with a variety of students and tasks. As well as to Vance of 2008, a school must have a physical structure that offers an effective communication environment in order to accomplish its goals. And according to Sanya 2012, the school climate is highly associated with the attitudes and behaviors of the students and teachers in school, because students and teachers develop attitudes and behaviors by the breathing in the atmosphere of their school. Kember and the company of 2006 shared that the complex construct was better characterized as being influenced by the broadly conceived teaching and learning environment. It appeared to be possible to encourage students to perform a great deal of high-quality work without complaining about excessive workload by attention to this environment. In reality, conducive learning environment didn't just happen. They are the result of effective classroom management that establish and maintain work systems for pupils to engage their learning. A conducive learning environment is one that is task-oriented and predictable, where pupils or students know what is expected of them and how to succeed. Selig of 2013 says that a healthy school climate offers a learning environment that supports students' academic, psychological, and behavioral development. In other words, a healthy school climate is necessary for students' academic achievement, psychological health, and positive behavior acquisition. And at 2010, with Warner et al., a poor physical environment of school has detrimental effects on students' learning and behavior. My dear colleagues of the division, the action research questions are the following, which are somehow to ascertain the levels of conduciveness in school. Specifically, the study sought to find answers to these questions. What are the levels of conduciveness in school assessed by the students, the teachers, and the stakeholders? And what intervention can be proposed based from the results of the study? And at this juncture, let's have the scope and limitation of the study, which was primarily conducted at Maigo National High School, Senior High School Department, which is located at Labuay, Maigo, Lanao del Norte. Its participants were the grade 11 learners who were determined according to stratified sampling. The sample includes 75 out of 207 learners. That is 36% of the grade 11 total population, at their ages ranging 16 to 20 years old. Furthermore, the other concerns of the study were facilitated. The entire teacher population of the department was considered. There were 16 teachers accounted to participate, same number from the neighboring household members were taken to embody the community. That is 16 in figure as well. And diving deeper to the research setting, the sample was composed by the different strands and its tracks offered by the department, which are the science and technology, engineering and mathematics, or the STEM, and the accountancy and business management, or the ABM, as in one section, general academic strand, or the GAS, humanities and social sciences, or the HUMS, also for the technical, vocational, or the TVL, plumbing, animation, or carpentry. That tallied 13, 15, 28, and 19 respondents respectively. And those elements totally supports that school conduciveness is attained through the participation of the academic and non-academic components, namely the learners, the teachers, and the stakeholders at large. It is a dynamic condition that every period status vary according to consistency and regularity of school programs pertaining to it. By the way, for the data collection and analysis undertaken, descriptive type of research was employed to ascertain the levels of conduciveness in school that serve as the basal point of the study. Analysis results were presented via table in Excel format for comparison of the implicated frequencies and percentage values. Open-ended responses entailed verbatim presentments. There were three types of quantitative data collected to elicit the needed information in drawing useful results: the student questionnaires, the survey model, and a questionnaire for teachers and for the stakeholders, where the arrays of means used. The aforementioned questionnaires were in the form of 5-point Likert scale. The questionnaires were from the work and evaluation of primary school students' views about noise levels in school of Nermin Bulunus et al. The validation courses were undergone in 2 cycles. The first one was with other learners in school of the same grade level who were not identified as research respondents, and seconded by the grade 12 learners. On the other side of the teachers and the community, casual interviews that based on the distributed questionnaires took place. The procedures in the data collection were kept official and attuned through the permission letters to the individuals concerned. And for the plan for the data analysis undertaken we have just 2. We have the frequency and percentage and the average mean. At this juncture, I'd like to give you the idea of the presentations of my discussions and results and reflections for the findings and results. The first one, findings regarding to the first research question. We have, of course, the set A, the levels of conduciveness in school. This is the first component of the first research question. And the set B for the survey model. And for the findings obtained from the teacher questionnaire for the levels of conduciveness in school, this is for the second component of the first research question. And finally, for the findings obtained from the stakeholders questionnaires for the levels as well of the conduciveness in school, this is the third component of the first research question. I am now leading you to the directions of looking at the findings regarding the first research question. Of course, for this one, obtained from the student questionnaire, we have 4 tables. At the moment, I am presenting to you table 1. Before I go deeper for table 1, I'd like to share to you that each table it is being presented through the sections of the respondents. We have STEM ABM, UMS A, of course, we have UMS B, this one, UMS B, gas, TVL, animation, carpentry, and plumbing. And the statements here are coming from, of course, the given questionnaire that are somehow relevant conditions to the needed information that supported the first component of the first research question. So try to notice, you can see or observe the tallies here. There you go, the tallies. And the digits generally present that conduciveness is observable in the school, thus keeping the environment ideal and productive to learning, to the workplace and to the community, and giving positive implications to daily routines. That's it. All right. For table 2, my dear colleagues in the division, the table shows the school conduciveness as affected by the students' noise experiences. And these are gauged by the opposite conditions in set A, which is the student questionnaire, that comprehensively compose the first component of the first research question. Same situation or same presentation. You can see again 3 tables. The data, by the way, here in the table laid, of course, the exact reason of the study that noise really occurred in the school surroundings, irregular co-curricular practices and practicums in the classroom noise, which is non-academic, and even from the vehicle horns. Because try to observe 3 A, B, C, D, E is all about the production of the noise. School surroundings, irregular co-curricular, adjacent room or classrooms, and of course the non-academic noise and the vehicle horns. There you go. Now for table 3, it is shown here the prevalent reactions of the students when conduciveness is at risk. Listed in the conditions are drawn from set A student questionnaire. Alright, it's like saying when conduciveness is at risk, so what should be their reactions? So like saying, I do not mind, I am provoked, I get mad, I take extra effort to listen and just focus on what I'm doing at the moment, I lose attention, I get annoyed and feel stressed. Again, you can see here the tally of the sections of the respondents. And the data indicate the passive reaction of the students or the respondents towards the conditions of the community pertaining to the conduciveness as a part of the learning process. Yeah. That means they are passive. Now down to table 4, the last table that supports the set A, the student questionnaire. Table 4 is entitled The Impact of Audible Noise to the Students in School Conduciveness. Again, the statements are coming from the given questionnaire. So we have again 3 sets of tables representing table 4. Table 4, of course, manifests the impact of audible noise to students in the school conduciveness, particularly to the school setup, the absorption of learning, academic performance, productivity, lesson delivery and transactions, daily routines, and non-curricular activities. There you go. The tallies are in here, right? Of course, I could say, and it is manifested here, of course, and obvious here in the table. The values emphasize how noise affects the school conduciveness, that directly lays a lot of tendencies, most especially to performance and productivity indicators. Let's proceed to table 5. The general views of students on school noise level are presented in table 5. These essentially support the first component of the first research question solicited from the set B survey model. Well, it undeniably showcases the common notion of the respondents that the noise level of the school as peer experience by most of them. This provides evidence that noise affects conduciveness. So we have the high, medium, and low. So practically, the respondent or the responses settled in this part. Everybody, to further exemplify the first component of the first research question through the set B survey model, this table displays the views of the students on noise sources, which can be observed inside and outside the school. Notice, you can see here in the lower part of this table, the responses are governed by this one, which is 5. It annoys me. 4, it annoys me a bit. 3, it is moderately annoying me. 2, it annoys me. And 1, it annoys me very much. Try to see the tallies. Of course, these digits somehow reflect how the respondents compose themselves through noise bothered them already as far as conduciveness is concerned of these 6 sections. With the aid of the set B survey model, the students' views as being affected by noise are presented, and even the views of its control in this table, table 7. Both views in the, of course, the table are basically situated in the mean of 117.20, which persuaded to be normal despite the noise tendencies in the premises. There you go. We have here being affected by the sources, the noise control. By the way, I'd like to share to you that this table is somehow representation of these options. We have the first question or the first statement and the second statement. We have the varied options here. And in the survey model, on this part, the personnel or the personal opinion of students regarding the noise level in school was answered by the learners or by the respondents.
The following dominant points and insights were shared accordingly. So here are the statements shared by these respondents. Of course, I am now reading to you now the verbatim of these statements. They said that, quote unquote, paid attention to minimize. Student should be more vigilant through giving of warnings. I just focus to my studies. The noise is annoying. It needs to be minimized. They should know the limit. And noise is disturbing. We can't focus. Shouting is heard. Be responsible and know the limit. There should be no shouting in and out the classroom. Respect and minimize. Sometimes the noise is okay and manageable. Cooperate to the policy. Academic noise sometimes only. Destructive and no focus, and tolerable. Noisy if no teacher. So there you go. It is not stated here or implied here in this table, but right after these statements, the respondents are required to, or maybe somehow they showed their answers, and as a researcher I am presenting, or I am telling it to you, telling those statements to you in verbatim. Ladies and gentlemen, for the findings obtained from the teacher questionnaire, I'd like to give you the notion that this time we will be talking about the teacher's responses. Of course, this is the second component of the first research question. A while back, we were talking about the responses of the learners, or of the respondents who are the learners, with the two instruments. We have the questionnaire and the survey model. This time we have for the second component of the first research question. So table 8, table 9, and table 10 and 11. There you go. So for table 8, this emphasizes for another time around the school conduciveness as observed by the teachers and as responded from the teacher questionnaire that has supported the second component of the first research question. These values, these values are varied according to how they notice or observe conduciveness in the premises. Take note, these are senior high school teachers. Alright. And for table 9, the teacher noise experiences pertaining to school conduciveness. These give more clarifications to the second component of the first research question. Of course, to see, we have again the statements are coming from the questionnaire. They did agree at 35% or 35.0 that conduciveness is disturbed by the production of noise in any way as enumerated in the conditions. These are the conditions. Some are neutral, which is 32.50, that just credit a mean difference of 2.5 from the former. And for table 10, teacher prevalent reactions when conduciveness is risks. Giving an amount of notion on how they provided immediate intervention to the conditions. These somehow compose the second component of the first research question. Alright, notice their reaction. Somehow they don't mind, they are provoked, they get mad, they take they took extra effort to listen and just focus on what they are doing at the moment, they lose attention, they get annoyed. There you go. And lastly, for table 11, for the teachers, the impact of audible noise to students in school conduciveness. In array are the conditions taken from the teacher's questionnaire for the second component in the first research question. There is a compromise of the school setup or the absorption of learning, academic performance, productivity, and willingness to schoolwork, lesson delivery, and daily routines, and non-curricular activities as well. All right, colleagues, for the findings obtained from the stakeholders questionnaire for the levels of conduciveness in school. This is the third component of the first research question. Right now, we will be viewing the tables 12 and 13. All right, table 12 is entitled the stakeholder observation on school conduciveness. These are taken from the stakeholders questionnaire. The responses are credited, of course, to the third component of the first research question. The stakeholders here have expressed their observations on school conduciveness as part of the direct community. And this relatively observed neutral at the mean of 33.60, strongly agree with 31.30, thus implying the presence of conduciveness on the views of the outsiders, quote unquote, the neighboring individuals. And lastly, for table 13, the stakeholder noise experiences pertaining to school conduciveness. We have, of course, these stakeholders have experienced those noise that merely disturb the conduciveness they observe in the school premises. These responses provide further information to the third component of the first research question. Because that school conduciveness is attained through the participation of the academic and non-academic components, namely the learners, the teachers, and the stakeholders at large. It is a dynamic condition that every period status vary according to the consistency and regularity of school programs pertaining to it. And having you in the last part of this presentation, the research recommendations. Well, the findings manifest substantive efforts by all the involved components. Interventions and strategies through contextualized activities shall be prioritized in reduction of noise and in maximization of school conduciveness for better learning endeavors towards meaningful productivity. Some of the identified interpositions that may prevalently be encompassed in the programs as the results of the study may suggest are, first, intensified integration of the DepEd Career Guidance Program, or the CGP, in the class program, where understanding of learners' behavior and inclination is emphasized. Second, the organization of relevant clubs like senior high school journalism, sing and dance troops, band and choral groups, and more, where talents of the learners are honed. In addition, the school-based Girl Scout of the Philippines, or the GSP, and the Boy Scout of the Philippines, or the BSP, encampments where citizens' obligation and discipline are implied and imposed. The fourth one, the reasonable and timely shortening of class schedules where activities like sports and quiz bowls may be accommodated. Fifth, we have the imposition of lesson across disciplines and social orientation in the instruction delivery, where situations are processed and digested in the teaching-learning encounters. In continuation, the conduct of seminars, fora, and assemblies on conventional issues where credible and effective resource speakers are to speak for the learners' awareness towards the community they belong. And seventh, we have the regular interfaith involutions through Holy Mass and ecumenical dialogues with different church leaders. The teachers and the community as part of the study may become the prime movers as their involvements in supporting the aforementioned plans and programs, which are all designed or devised to serve as the learners' outlet from any crisis they may be at present.